A woman on TikTok just accused Jean Dill of being worse than the diddler, and now Jean himself is crashing on the internet.
Whatever social media site she on and she accusing me, all she gonna get is practice. Do you hear me? All she gonna get is practice. Practice how to be a good damn liar.
So Jean Dill, the man who has been out here spilling Diddy's tea like he's a leaky faucet, just got hit with some wild accusations. A woman on TikTok is claiming Jean ain't just a witness to Diddy's dirt, she's saying he might actually be worse. Woo child. She laid out her story talking about some incident at Justin's restaurant where a lady disappeared. Another woman passed out and a pocketbook went MIA. Now we gotta ask, how Jean been around all this shady stuff for years and still walking around squeaky clean? Ain't no way you sit in front row at the messiest circus in hip hop and you ain't get no popcorn butter on you. Because these allegations are serious and Jean's defense is his word against hers because he was Diddy's bodyguard. So she said she was at Justin's restaurant back in the day when some real shady stuff went down. She said a girl was laid out on the couch, security was swarming, and then poof, everybody disappeared. That's right, she claims all the bad boy staff and security left, taking the girl with them. And guess who she says was there? Jean Dill. Sis even hit us with that 99.99% certainty, like she working with DNA evidence.
She said she was in Justin. And in Justin's, it was this girl, you come in and they got couches right there. It was this girl laid out on the couch. And all the security was around her. And I think Jean Dill was there. I'm 99.9% that Jean Dill was there. Okay. When she came back, all the security was gone. All the bad boy people was gone and the girl was gone too. Then she went on to say that her pocketbook came up missing. And now she tells us that I was working for Justin's at that time. Her pocketbook was in the locker, but it mysteriously came up missing, where she had to go home with the manager that night.
According to her, that situation turned into a whole relationship she ain't signed up for. Now, I ain't gonna lie because her story ain't really the straightest dude in San Francisco. But Jean wasn't gonna let anything slide. He came out swinging, denying the whole thing like a pro. He straight up said, "Mama, I'm not responsible for you getting worms or sleeping with a man 25 years older than you." Woo, not the worms. If shade was a sport, Jean would be in the Hall of Fame. But here's the thing. Instead of just saying he wasn't there, Jean said he wasn't there and then went on to attack. He claimed the woman's story didn't add up and accused her of making stuff up for clout. He also said she ain't know how Justin's operated, like sis didn't even do her homework before popping off. According to Jean, Justin's had his own security, separated from Bad Boy, and armed guards wasn't allowed inside the club. Basically, he trying to say, it couldn't be me, boo.
What she didn't know the dynamics of Justin. She didn't know that Justin's had their own security, and 9 times out of 10, the guys were armed, puffed in one guns in the fucking club, and the armed guards and the guards that did him, they stayed outside because Roy ran Justin and whoever he had for security that was inside of Justin, and they wasn't armed. Now, check this out. Which is crazy. She said that they found her pocketbook. She came back to Justin again. And from that point on, she had a relationship with the manager, who was over 20 some years older than her. That was her story, bruh. But I want to tell this young lady like this, because she says she a victim, and I don't want to victim shame. But mama, I'm not responsible for you getting worms.
Now, let's take a step back. Jean been out here telling us all about Diddy's dirt for years, from shady business moves to wild parties. Jean act like he the guardian of all Diddy's secrets. He been playing the good guy, claiming he saw it all, but never took part. But let's be real. How you gonna be around all that chaos and never get your hands dirty? And it's a lot of folks that have been feeling the same way about Jean, saying his stories always put him just outside the line of fire. Like, bruh, you mean to tell us you was this close to the drama and ain't never even caught a stray? Now, this TikTok user coming out the woodwork got folks wondering, if Jean was so deep in Diddy's camp, what else could he be hiding? Did he really keep it clean, or is he just better at dodging accountability than the rest of them? Well, if you ask Jean, it's all lies. Anyone who's accusing him of anything more than just seeing what he saw is a liar. The man made that abundantly clear.
I've been in Justin's about 5 times, and I know every time I was in Justin. I know every time I was in Justin, sweetheart. And it definitely wasn't that time. And it definitely wasn't with Puff on that time. So, your lies, you hurting real victims. Your lies is looking and it's there to plant doubt that at least half of the 120 people who say they was victimized wasn't victimized. Your lies, ma, is gonna blow up in your face like it's doing with your story. So, I'm sorry. And that's been a whole lot of years ago. And I hope you took care of your worms, because Big Jean ain't had nothing to do with it. Sorry. Playtime is over.
This whole situation brings up a bigger issue. How do we separate the real victims from the ones chasing clout? Jean claimed this woman's story is all cap and that she's undermining real victims with her lies. He even said, your lies hurting real victims, you planting doubt about half the people who say they were victimized. On the other hand, the accuser's sticking to her guns. She says she remembers Jean being there clear as day. And honestly, her story sounds like it could be a part of a larger pattern of how women been treated in these spaces. Whether it's true or not, her claims just makes things worse for Diddy and his camp. And Jean Dill too, if this ever becomes a bigger issue. It's like how this fan called him, Jean, I saw nothing but know everything deal. And this fan said, Jean need to fall back from all this. Personally, I think the man is in too deep. If he stopped talking now, it's an admission of guilt and more victims, real or not, will come after him. And that's why this fan said, this why it's good to stay out the way, mess around and get roped into some BS. But what do y'all think? Is it possible to be Diddy's bodyguard like Jean was and not be on some BS? And what do y'all think about this woman that is accusing Jean? You think she's telling the truth or is it chasing clout? Tell me what y'all think in the comments.